On the coldest night of November, a young woman collapsed at Ryan Hale's doorstep, bleeding, shaking, and clutching a USB drive like it was her last breath. She didn't know Ryan. She only whispered one thing before losing consciousness. "If I die, don't open it until sunrise." Ryan was a former detective who walked away from cases in chaos after losing his wife, but that night dragged him back into both. By morning, mysterious men were searching the neighborhood for her, and when the sun finally rose, Ryan opened the USB. What he found inside didn't just tie him to the stranger, it connected him to his wife's past. Welcome back to my channel, Classic Stories. If you're new here, please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Now let's dive into the story. Ryan Hale had spent 2 years avoiding anything that reminded him of who he once was, a relentless detective known for solving impossible cases. After his wife, Emily, died in a store robbery gone wrong, he resigned, moved to a quiet coastal town, and raised his 10-year-old son Noah far from crime and disaster. He fixed boats, fished at dawn, cooked simple breakfasts, and forced himself to believe life could be ordinary again. But peace has a curious way of breaking, exactly when you start to trust it. That night, rain slapped against the windows like angry fingers. Noah was asleep upstairs, warm in his blanket fort. Ryan made coffee, sat by the fireplace, letting the crackling logs on the thoughts he kept buried deep, until a faint thud echoed outside. At first, he ignored it. Storms throw things. Doors creak. Winds lie. He closed his eyes. Then came the second sound. Not wind. Not wood. A desperate knock. He opened the door and froze. A woman, mid-20s, rain-drenched, out of breath, fell into his arms. Blood streaked her shoulder, her lips trembling like she was holding words too heavy to speak. "Help! They're coming! Don't open it until sunrise," she gasped, forcing a small USB drive into his hand before collapsing. Ryan instinctively looked over his shoulder, half expecting gunfire or headlights. The street was quiet. Too quiet. He carried her inside, stitched her wound while memories of crime scenes clawed at his mind. He told himself he didn't care who she was. He told himself he wouldn't get involved. But curiosity is a slow poison. When she woke hours later, firelight warming her pale skin, Ryan asked a question that burned through him. "Who are you?" She hesitated, fear flickering behind her hazel eyes. "My name is Aria Rivers," she whispered, "and I think someone wants me dead." The storm raged outside. Inside, silence was heavier. She explained that she worked for a cybersecurity firm in the city. 3 days ago, she discovered encrypted files linked to illegal surveillance, stolen identities, and, worse, planned disappearances of whistleblowers. She copied what she found onto the USB, but someone caught her. Her apartment was raided, her office wiped clean, her best friend vanished. "I ran," she said, voice breaking. "I don't even know how I ended up at your house. I was just trying to survive." Ryan could have called the police. Should have. But something about her fear felt real, too real, like the same fear Emily had the night she was killed. Memories flooded him like cold water. He poured them both tea. Noah came downstairs rubbing his eyes, stopping when he saw her. "Dad, who's she?" Ryan placed his hand gently on Noah's shoulder. "A friend who needs help." Aria smiled faintly, and for a moment the house didn't feel like danger. It felt like fate. But fate breaks when dawn arrives. At 6:12 a.m., footsteps crunch on gravel outside. A black SUV idled near the mailbox. 2 men stepped out, men with the type of calm you only see in trained hunters. Ryan's pulse hammered. "Aria, they're here." She pressed a shaking hand to her mouth. "They found me." Ryan shoved a USB into his pocket, pulled her and Noah into the back hallway, and hid them in the old storm cellar. Boots thundered on the porch. The door creaked open. A flashlight beam sliced across the living room. Ryan held his breath. Glass shattered upstairs. One voice spoke. She couldn't have gotten far. "Check the rooms. We need that drive." The men tore the house apart for nearly 20 minutes. Ryan's muscles cramped from holding still. Noah's small hand gripped his father's like a lifeline. Aria trembled silently beside them. Eventually the footsteps retreated. The SUV rolled away. But the threat didn't. When the sun finally spilled gold across the floor, Ryan remembered her words. "Don't open it until sunrise." Maybe fear had controlled him long enough. He plugged the USB into his laptop. Screens flickered. Encrypted files opened. Photos, maps, recorded calls. And there, buried deep, was a folder labeled "Reason for her death, EH." Ryan stopped breathing. EH. Emily Hale, his wife. His hand shook as he opened the file. A recorded audio clip played, Emily's voice trembling. If something happens to me, it won't be an accident. They threatened me because I found out about the fund transfers. Children's identities being sold. Ryan must never know. It'll destroy him. Ryan's blood ran cold. Emily hadn't died in a random robbery. She was killed for knowing something. Something that Arya found years later. Tears blurred his vision. His chest felt like it was splitting open. Arya watched him with guilty eyes. I never knew the file was about her, she whispered. I'm so sorry. Ryan exhaled slowly, grief, rage, purpose rising like fire. No, he said. You did the right thing bringing this to me. For the first time in years, Ryan felt alive, not peaceful, not healed, but awake. He looked at the woman who stumbled into his life and unknowingly returned his fight. We're not running anymore, he said. We end this. Arya nodded, voice raw. Together? Ryan lifted his son into his arms. Together? And as the sun climbed higher, burning orange in the morning mist, Ryan Hale, a man once broken, stepped back into the world he thought he left forever, with truth in his hands and revenge on his horizon. I hope you liked the story. For more intriguing stories, please subscribe our channel and also click on bell button.